Hello and welcome to RC Birds, and thanks for stopping by. In this video I do the last updates in my budget build on the Beluga. This is going to be a longer video because I have to do some explanations, especially for the brushless motor. But I think the tips I found on the internet about the brushless motor are very valuable, and so I would like to share them with you. First thing I found out, the 1060 ESC is waterproofed and the receiver is splash proofed. So I thought about putting this TX4 receiver cover, but the receiver inside the car is too big for it, so sorry, I can't use it. I also thought about putting it into a balloon, but I can assure you from my experience of the model ships, there will be water moisture inside the balloon and then the receiver will be ruined one day. So I leave this out and don't use the car as a submarine. In one of the last videos I ruined this hook. It was like this one. Hope you can see it. Yep. And I have to use this shackle. But now I ordered some spare parts and will replace it. Also, I said I built the car in two versions. Each version of the car will stay under 600. And for both versions, I also ordered this winch. We get to it later at the end of the video. And also for the winch, this little hook. So now let's talk about the two versions. The first version is the fun version, where I use an Interieur 35T motor, which is a brushed motor. Now Interieur put on the connectors with the right size. Nice looking thing. I have one of this in my other crawler, but I don't want to change the motors, so I don't put it into it here and just start with the combined version with the brushless motor. Also in the fun version, there's this dual sense sound module. It is already programmed. And here will be some explanations too. Next, which is a Hobbywing Fusion SE crawler motor 1800 kV. It's a combo where the ESC is built in. I need a separate plug to get it to my plug system. And I also ordered a program card. Hobbywing says for this motor, every of their program cards will fit. I bought a cheap one. We'll see if this works. Also, and which length the video, is you have 3 adjustment steps to do with this motor. The first is a calibration with the radio. The second is the motor pairing, which resets the sensors inside. And the third will be the programming with the card. And every step needs different preparations. So, enough talked, let's begin with the build. So now it's time for the first setup of the motor, the calibration. For this, I connect the motor to the receiver, turn on the radio, and connect the battery with the ESC. Then I start to press the button until it starts blinking. Then press one time for neutral. Pull on full throttle. Press it again, it beeps 2 times. Wait a second. Then put the transmitter into reverse. So, this should be everything. Let's do a short test. Fine, this is the first setup. The second thing you should do is the automatic motor pairing, which calibrates the sensors inside the motor. You only need the battery, no receiver, no radio. Hold the button for a long time until it starts to blink green. First it blinks red. As soon as it blinks green, release the button and the motor will do the rest. It takes some time, but it finished itself. As soon as the light flashes red, you're done. It flashes red because it isn't connected to the receiver. So the third programming will do after I build everything into the car. Ensure every screw will fit, don't over tight it. I don't clean up the wires yet. This will be done later when I have the next electronic components put on the car. But just for a short test. Okay, in the third programming this will be reversed, but for now it works. So now let's get to the third part of the programming. You need a program card, which isn't in the motor set. You need this lengthen wire, which I took from my winch. In the set of the motor, there's just lengthening. I think this will be for lengthening this cable, but not for programming. You need two male plugs, and this is a female and a male plug. So, connect the battery, disconnect the ESC from the receiver, turn it on. In the manual, you've got this table where you can see it. Here you have the item and the value. The first item is the RPM throttle managing, or the FRC. I don't need this, so I disable it. The second item is the definition of the LiPo cells. Auto, 2S, 3S, I leave it on auto. The third is the cutoff voltage. You can disable it, low, medium, high. It's medium, I'll take it. The fourth thing is the SE thermal projection, which is 105 degrees Celsius or 221 Fahrenheit. This is okay for me too. The fifth is the motor rotation. This we have to change because we had seen that it runs the wrong way. The sixth is the BSC voltage. I leave it here on 6 volts. You can put it up to 7.4 volts. The seventh thing is the drag brace force, which means how hard or how much strength it should do. You can put it up to 9 levels or disable it. This is level 5 because disabling it is the first option. I think we leave this. The 8th value is a drag brake rate. You have 9 levels. It's right in the middle. I think for the first time I'll leave it this way. And the last thing is the drag brake force, which can you put into 25, 50, 75%, which means how fast the drag brake will be engaged. I think for the first time I'll leave it. So don't forget to press OK. So now everything should be programmed. We do a little checkup. Turn the car off. Turn the car on. And here we already see the FOC is disabled. Looks good. After removing the card, don't forget to put the rubber seal into the program slot. Here's mine. So now it's water protected. Let's see if the car is now driving forward. I connect the ESC to the receiver. My radio is already turned on. This sounds good. Fine, now the programming is done. So let's get to the next step, the sound module. I have to admit, last time I had a little issue. I can't get out the grub screw from the original pinion gear. Tried it several times. This is a 12T pinion gear. And I tried to use this Demir aluminum gear, which has 13 Ts. On the motor mount here, you have several holes, but none of the combinations I tried worked out good. The car was very noisy. I didn't do long runs with it, just tests. So the spur gear wasn't harmed. Then I bought from Traxxas, what kind of irony, the 3919, which is a 12T pinion gear with a 32 DPs, and now it works. It's not so noisy again. And I also opened up the diff housings. The name doesn't suit so good because there are no differentials in here, just gears. I open them up. There are 4 screws and grease them. Same here on the housings of the portal gears. Remove the wheel, remove 4 screws, put some grease in. They already had put grease into it. That was great, but not for my standards. So now it's time to get on with the sound module. I decided to put in a Sense ESS dual sound module. I don't do a review about it because there are many out there. Let's just have a quick overview. We got the stick where you can put it into your computer and program your sound module. the sound module itself. This wire is for the motor sound. This is your auxiliary channel, horn or something else, or siren. And this is your power supply. You can switch between two programmed sounds. You can regulate the volume. We have two speakers. It's waterproofed. That's fine. There are 4 mounting points. Some are for the SCX10 or for the TX4. The Y cable is for bringing the sound module into the car, and the second wire is for the ESC. And we have a plug-and-play Dienstplug power supply. Although these cars are big, it's really challenging to put in the sound module. So let's see what we have. I first thought about putting it up to here, but then I saw that the reinforcement of the body would be in the way. I also can put it here, but then I have additional wires which I don't want, which are going from the body into the chassis. Then I thought about this place or this place. Here is a bonnet, not good too. Here the motor gets hot and I have to get to the battery. So there's one solution I will favorite, which is this holder. It fits very good in here. I screw on the sound module and glue the holder here at this place. It seemed that there's enough space here, and the wire should go under here to the rest. So let's talk about the last big update, which is Winch. This is a cheap Amazon one, but it's also radio controlled. And for this we need another component, which is the electronic. This electronic isn't waterproofed. Hole here, hole there, and a hole in here. To make this waterproof, you need the special water seal color for electronics, but we leave it here. And in addition, to get this work, let's first complain a little bit. These are 2 female plugs, and you need this wire with 2 male plugs. I don't know why they don't do here a female and here a male, that you can connect it, and here just a length thing. Now I have to connect these 2 and somehow put the wiring into the car. Another thing is to get the thing to work is this battery cable. Quite long, but this is okay. It blinks. So it's working. I will change this shackle into a hook. And for the power supply, I use this parallel plug which comes into the power line of my truck. This is everything for the winch. For the car, I show you some things before I start with the time lapse. I have to remove this bumper. Here are 2 screws and 2 on the other side. Then I can put everything away. Then I can screw out this fake winch. And unfortunately, I have to remove this mouth. This is molded to the bumper, but I have to cut it and sand it down so I can put on the winch. If you put on the winch, you can for sure use this for screw points and screws here, but I highly recommend to use this plate. It distributes the forces from the winch over the whole plate and is better to use. You can also use double-sided tape, but I think this won't hold for long. I'm planning to put the receiver here. And as I said, here my parallel plug into the power line. This I can do already. Pretty long now. The motor, the adapter to the Dienst plug, my parallel plug and the sound module. So let's go on with the time-lapse build. Now the upgrades are done. There might be more in the future, but I wanted to stay in the limits which I had planned. Maybe I do a comparison video between the Beluga and my TX4 Bronco. But for sure I do a running/crawling video about the Beluga. Okay, this time it was a very long video, so it's time to stop here. If you stayed with me until here, I thank you for watching. If you've got some questions, the comment section is yours. And as always, please like, share and subscribe, this really helped me out. See you soon on RC Birds!